Hello, 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 and welcome. This is Beverly Fells Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness, and I want to welcome you to today's show. I am an author, speaker, seminar leader, Mimi, gardener, and all kinds of other wonderful things that I like to explore. Now, in my last podcast, I explained to you that over the last few months I have not been well, and so I just decided that I would not be doing recordings or uploading. I just was not mentally, emotionally, physically able to, what do I want to say? Sit down and really talk to you. Now, last week's was a really heavy commentary that I had been thinking about, um, talking about the oppressors. And that was triggered by many things in the media. Well, today it's time to get back into the Manifestations book, True Stories of Bringing the Imagined into Reality. And I was thinking of the fact that, you know, I haven't really done any big plans lately. I haven't, and a lot of us have not done that. I've been working around the house a little bit and, doing a little bit of remodeling here. And, it's springtime. And so I've been working on my garden and I've been watching my tomato plants just kind of start to grow. And then get frustrated because there's a feral cat that dug into my radish pot and disturbed my just coming up radishes. I wasn't too happy about that. But just looking at big dreams. I was on Twitter the other day and this ad for a Cadillac SUV came up and I said there was a time when I wanted a Cadillac. I had one years ago, a sedan DeVille, which they don't make anymore. But it was like, well, what would you like? I'm enjoying my truck, but what would you like? Would you like to? I don't want to replace it because I have a camper, but what would I like to have in addition? A small something that, you know, um, didn't use a lot of gasoline to use around here to run around and do errands and now that things are opening up, visit friends. But really looking forward to something, magnificent. And cruise, I want to start cruising. I wanted to have an idea of going overseas, just a number of things. And since I've decided that I'm going to live a nice long life, I've got time to do these things. Well, got into my book, The Manifestations True Stories, and I tell you, Spirit always leads me to whose story I'm supposed to read next. And I think this story was like brought to me because it was time, right? It was time for me to start looking at big things, manifesting large things in my life, not just smaller things. Yes, I manifested my truck and my house and a number of things, but I've gotten to that age where things are not important. Experiences are. So I'm going to work on experiences for me. What is it that you would like to manifest and bring into your life? So I'm going to read to you a story brought to us by Crystal Frame. I like that name, Crystal Frame. And let me tell you a little bit about her. In addition to driving monster trucks, Crystal Frame is an LA-based writer, a triple blind tested LWISSD, whatever that is, certified advanced psychic medium. Had never heard of that before, but okay. And a transformational healer whose vision is to awaken people to their infinite nature so they can manifest the life of their dreams. And she has a official website called mediumcrystalframe.com. So let's see what Crystal has to say. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. Well, that works for me. All right, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, which is the principle that you can attract success or failure based on your thoughts. Well, I'll never forget the time I decided to put the law of attraction to the test and manifest something crazy, me becoming a monster truck driver. It was comical. I had absolutely zero experience driving one of those big rigs. The odds were astronomically low that I would ever be featured on the television show Monster Jam. Smiling through the air in Gravedigger and crushing cars as I landed, so I decided to treat this wacky idea as an experiment. The first step was to spend a few minutes imagining what it might feel like to drive a monster truck. I genuinely put myself into the scene and asked what it would take to make my idea happen. Okay, so she put herself into the dream and asked the question, what would it take to make my idea happen? She goes on. After that, I let my daydream go and remained open to receiving signs from the universe. Then some strange things started happening. A few months later, my company had a sweepstakes where the winners got a trip to Monterey, California to ride with Mario Andretti in an Indy car through the infamous Andretti hairpin turn at Laguna Seca Raceway. Then have professional drifter Tanner Faust teach how to drift in a race car, and best of all, meet Dennis Anderson and drive his monster truck Gravedigger. Now I worked in an office on the East Coast and never traveled. There was zero chance that I was going to that event, right? However, through a series of unusual circumstances, I somehow ended up in California working behind the scenes when lo and behold, I was given a chance to drive the legendary Gravedigger monster truck. The winners of the sweepstakes had moved on, but the instructors kept the Gravedigger event open for a few minutes longer, knowing others would want to drive. I almost missed my opportunity because I had been working from the hotel most of the morning, but thanks to the law of attraction, I managed to suit up and climb into Gravedigger. Isn't that wonderful? That's awesome. Seeing it up close was a humbling experience. The enormous size of the truck made me look like a little kid wearing an oversized helmet and trying to climb up monkey bars. When I was strapped in, I could barely reach the gas pedal. My instructor taught me a few basic rules for driving a monster truck. After several minutes of instruction, flip those floor switches here, push that button there, put it in drive, and go for it. I was almost ready. I had one final question. How do I know if I'm following the course? The instructor said, go to the first hill you see and hit the gas. I saw a huge mound of dirt straight ahead and slowly drove toward it. The hill matched the many images I'd seen on television of monster trucks sailing through the air over a row of parked cars waiting to be crushed. As I inched closer, I realized I was being pretty lame. I was driving the legendary Gravedigger after all, and I should go for it. I certainly didn't want to go back to the office and have to explain that I was too scared to finish the course. It was now or never. I floored it. The next thing I saw was sky as Gravedigger shot straight up in the air, perpendicular to the ground. There was a slight pause before we came crashing down. The front left tire hit first. Boom. Then the right one. Boom. The engine immediately cut off and several extremely concerned men came running over. "Are you okay?" asked my instructor. By this point, I had adrenaline rush that 10 cans of Red Bull couldn't match. "Whoa!" I yelled, raising one hand in the air. "Don't worry," he said. "We'll get you back on the course in a minute." The course? It turned out that the huge hill was essentially a mound of dirt they were going to use for Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger exhibition. The real course was much tamer, more like a kiddie version of Monster Jam. Oops. When I climbed out of Gravedigger, Jason Britton, a professional stunt driver, came over and said he wanted to do the same thing, but was afraid he would get in trouble. That was when I realized I had manifested a once-in-a-lifetime moment, and it all happened because of mistake. Exercise. As a fun experiment, pick one item that you want to attract into your life. All right, so take a moment, even pause this podcast, get a piece of paper, think about something that you want to manifest. Just think about something. You can be big, I'd say big or small. As you see, she thought about it, she imagined herself driving it, and she had this opportunity. And in this opportunity, she wound up doing the big monster hill instead of the course. And the one guy said, "I was scared to do it," right? So, are you back? Good. So identify what you want to manifest. Write that down. Write it down. Because I want you to write it down. Step 2, she says, close your eyes and imagine that this has already happened. Spend at least 5 minutes visualizing it. Get into the scene and use your imagination. What would it feel like? Who is with you? What does the environment look like? Ask, what would it take for your goal to happen? Be playful and flexible with the answer. Ask the universe for obvious signs that this dream is about to occur. As obvious as seeing a marching band during a ticker tape parade. Okay, so let me go through those first 4 again. Identify what you want to manifest. 2, close your eyes and imagine that this has already happened. Spend at least 5 minutes visualizing it, getting into the scene, and using your imagination. What will it feel like? Who is with you? What does the environment look like? 3, ask, what would it take for your goal to happen? Be playful and flexible with the answer. You may not have the answer right now. It may come to you later or through a series of unrelated events that might make it happen for you. Just ask the question. Number 4, ask the universe for obvious signs that this dream is about to occur, as obvious as seeing a marching band during a ticker tape parade. Okay, those are the first 4. 5, make it a game and follow the signs. These can be found anywhere from lyrics to conversations with friends, or even signs like giant billboards on the side of the road. Keep a journal of these signs, and soon you'll recognize a pattern. Say yes to opportunities as they pop up. This is especially true if you don't match the exact idea of what you thought would happen, right? She was thinking about driving these monster trucks, but she wasn't even prepared to do it. This just happened because she left the hotel, went to the track, and they had some open time for her, and she took that opportunity. Please remember the universe is taking care of things behind the scenes and is moving people, places, and things around to bring this dream to life. And I like to say it is like dominoes, setting up a string of dominoes. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but you touch one domino and then each succeeding domino falls until it finishes its pattern and does exactly what it needs to do. And number 7, don't be afraid to make mistakes. These mistakes can become part of an amazing once-in-a-lifetime story shared for many years to come. Go for it. So go for what you want. Go for looking for that thing that you've always wanted. Is it a job? Is it a trip? Is it a friend showing up in your life? Or finding your soulmate. Whatever it is. Me, going on that big trip. You know, I've already scheduled one trip on a boat. So I'm going on a cruise. But for you, what is it that you truly want? Make a note down below in the comments section about what it is that you desire. I would love to hear about that. I would love to hear about things that you have manifested in your life and how great it could be for you. This is Beverly Fells Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness, and thank you for listening today. And join me again for my next podcast. I'm really got to catch up on my cooking and gardening videos so I can get those out there too. Anyway, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed before. If you're a subscriber, I want to thank you for being here. Make sure that you've hit the bell so that you can be notified when I bring in another video. So again, as you have believed, let it be done to you, and it is so, and I will see you in the next video.